So yesterday's class, we understood importance of framework application, and then we understood importance of implementation application. Okay, so every organization will be having ultimately implementation applications to be designed. And for those implementations to be managed properly, we might be having n number of frameworks. Okay, depending upon your project complexity, there will be like multiple frameworks, and that too these frameworks is what you can create. You, in the sense, your team can create, or maybe you can directly purchase it from the Pega systems team. After you purchasing and after you making this well established, no doubt you can happily continue for your projects, and still if required you can sell this for different such companies also. So that is different matter. Fine. So this as a whole, we call it as application structure. Application structure. And each and every application, no doubt, can be connected to a third party application via SOAP services or REST services, or it can be connected for their direct databases. So you should include those external foundation servers also. So external DB integrations might be there, maybe external API calls might be there. So this as a whole, we call it as organization structure. Okay, so in interviews, they'll straight away ask you to draw this organization structure. You should clearly understand that. I'll make you to learn everything. Okay. And after your interview is cleared, maybe after you join your company. So if today is your day one, so you have to ask your manager about your organization structure. Consider I'm your manager, and we just gave you access for this credit card application. And remember one important point. So that is, after you joining some company, you will be given access only for implementations. Okay, so day one, you are supposed to get this Pega login page, right? In personal edition, you'll follow some way. Maybe in enterprise edition, you'll follow some other way. Whatever it is, you should get this login page. From here, everything is same. So whoever is logging in, we call them as operator. I'll talk about this. After you are supposed to log in, right? Meaning you should get some ID and password generated that your manager will take care. After you logging in, it will take you to a development studio for credit card application. So no doubt it will take you to development studio. You are supposed to drag and drop and do something, right? That design is for credit card application. If I'm logging in and I'm supposed to develop something like health insurance project, meaning I'll get development studio for this health insurance application. You'll get development studio for credit card application. For every one of us, you will be given access for any of these implementations only. Remember this statement blindly. You'll be given access only for implementations. Now, if you logged in here, and simply your manager will give you so and so zero ID or so and so defect to work on. Okay, or he might ask you to design screen number one for credit card application. He'll just give you a sample mock-up for that. So where it is showing you first name occupying 50% of the screen size, last name, maybe age, and something about like credit card type, credit card number, you'll see maybe 10 fields there. And there you should clearly understand what are reusable, what are not. So the reusable things generally you'll create in its first framework, or if it is still further reusable, you might create in its top level framework. So to create this in frameworks, first you should know whether your application is having frameworks or not, right? It is not mandatory that every application to be having frameworks. It may have framework, and that too one as its parent, or it can have multiple frameworks also. It need not have parent also, right? So maybe if you go back to your manager and ask about whether this implementation is having framework or not, he'll straight away ask you a question that whether are you real experienced or not. Meaning what you would understand. So after you got access for so and so implementation, it is easy for us to identify whether this is having framework or not. If so, how many frameworks? And what is its first parent, maybe second parent, third parent? Out of which what are like your project has created, and maybe out of which how many are like they separately purchased. Everything is what we can understand on our own. You need not run behind everyone just to get this information. Okay. So based on how many things you are having, you are supposed to recreate slowly. And this application, whether it is connected to third party or not, this you cannot identify on your own on day one itself. So if your requirement is about designing something PAN card number, using which if it is to hit the third party application on your own, you cannot identify. So finally, what I mean to say here is you can talk to your manager something about organization structure, but you should not ask anything about like its internal framework applications. So application structure is what you can identify on your own. Organization structure, better you can ask for a document. So they'll share you one PDF document or Word documents as part of your initial KTs. Okay, so day one, they'll start KTs, right? Knowledge transfers, right? So they'll give you some recordings and some videos. No doubt in those videos or documents, you'll see your entire organization structure. So there you can identify how many applications are there, how many frameworks are there, how many are like purchased, and how many are connected to third party databases, or how many are connected to third party applications, everything. Is it via SOAP or REST? How exceptional handlings are done? Maybe from third party application, if we are not getting proper response, so how are we handling this? Are we maintaining those failed requests in any of the database tables or not for our future scenarios? Everything will be clearly mentioned in that organization structure. You can ask for the document or they'll directly share it with you. So this is what our initial understanding to be. Okay, with this level of knowledge, you will start logging in and you'll start practically working on all these tasks. Okay, fine. Now, maybe yesterday, as I told you, day one after you start working your company, so you should not talk anything about like Pega installation. You should never ask anything about like installation. And what you have to do, then how do you get this login page? As I told you, you are supposed to ask them for this URL. Okay, so there will be a Pega server running at the client network team. Okay, when that server is up, one URL will be generated and every one of us can access that URL. So if I hit this URL in any of my browsers, no doubt I'll get this page. And this page will be like customized. You'll not see this Pega login page anymore. You'll not see this Pega logo anymore because your client has officially purchased this Pega license and they got an option to modify their logo, city logo or whatever. And for your information, this login page is common for every one of us. Every one of us meaning. So we all are a team, meaning I'm part of development team. You are part of testing team. Another person, he might be the real user. Another person, he might be the real bank manager. Whatever it is, every one of us, we have to use the same application only. If I log in, I'll get development studio. And if you log in, you might get direct output credit card portal. So this application or this login page is same, and depending upon whoever is logging in, the respect to next screen will be changed. And again, whoever is logging in into this Pega application, they are technically called as operators. Whoever is accessing this Pega portal, they are to be considered as operators. So day one, you have to ask your manager to create operator ID for you. Okay, don't say it as login ID. Technically, it is to be called as operator ID. So your manager will create operator ID considering you as developer. Okay, considering or marking you as a developer. And next day, if any other person joining in your same company, you should be in a position to create operator ID for that new person, for that new person. Okay, and consider if I'm the real bank manager. You guys are working for city project, which is part of development. And once this project is developed, ultimately bank employees has to use it, right? Ultimately, bank employees has to use it. And this bank manager will log in and he will do some things like approving or rejecting their credit card requests. And maybe there will be a number of bank clerks. So these bank clerks will log in. They'll try to raise new credit card requests, and maybe they'll try to log in, upgrading the existing credit card, whatever it is. This Pega application, you are logging in initially for development. So maybe some other testers will log in for testing purpose. The real UAT people will log in and they'll test it from their end. So finally, the real users will log in and they'll do these business transactions. Whatever it is, the Pega application, whatever we are creating today, n number of people are logging in. Okay, all these are technically considered as operators. Everyone, whoever is accessing Pega application, they are to be considered as operator. Now, someone please tell me what type of people generally log in. I already told you few names. Generally, what type of people will log in? No doubt developers will log in, right? Developers will log in. Okay, next, who else will log in generally? Someone,
Testers.
testers, great. Testers will log in and they'll test it. Okay, next,
Admins. Business op.
administrators. Administrators have to log in and they'll take care of this listeners part, configuration files part, maybe deployment part and other stuff. Great. And then business analyst, right? So business analyst, they will be logging in and they will be designing some prototype. Okay, case types related or data types related. They have to do something, right? Okay. And then,
Managers.
hmm? What is that?
Managers.
Managers. What do you mean by manager? Is it like our team Pega manager or the real managers? So when you see it as a manager, so for our development team, we are developers. For us, there will be a manager, a development manager, or a delivery manager. And the real users also, they will be having one bank manager, branch manager, divisional manager. So here, managers are meaning like two things. So what exactly you mean like manager?
Like
Pega,
Pega managers, basically the project managers.
then still like development manager. Okay. Next, who else will like in generally? Come on, you guys should be interactive.
Then I mean
Users.
like users or CSRs.
CSRs meaning the real representatives, what we call it as users here. Okay, fine. Okay, next.
Product owners.
Product owners, nothing but kind of client say kada, or maybe like the business analyst related part. So similar things is what you're trying to say again. Okay, next. Next and very important thing here will be
Deployment manager kind of doing the deployments.
deployment manager also come under administrators only.
Okay.
Okay, and final, what generally people are missing is the real bank managers. We call these as real managers. Okay, so generally these type of people generally log in Pega and do their daily duties. Fine, let's come and talk about developers. Developers, after they log in, what they will do development related things, right? Meaning they have to get development studio. They have to get development studio. So what in real tester they'll get? No doubt for every one of us will get same login page. If I log in with my operator ID, it will take me to development studio. And if you are a tester in any company, if you are supposed to test any Pega application, after you logging in with your ID and password, you will not get development studio, right? What you'll get? You will be getting the real users related screen. So how the real bank clerk log in and what they will do, you will test it now itself. Meaning after you logging in, you will be getting it like a user portal. Okay. And maybe the real clerk, if he's raising one credit card request, then the same will be reaching to manager's work list. Bank manager has to approve or reject, right? So testers, they will be getting user portal, no doubt in it. And what about administrators? So there will be something called admin studio. Okay, if an administrator is logging in the latest versions of Pega, we are seeing something dedicated studio for them, which is with the name admin studio. And if it is like past versions of Pega, so this kind of separate environment is not there. There they used to use something called SMA, system management applications, which is kind of like integrated to be done, which is little hectic process. But from 8th version onwards, you don't know what is like version sequence also, I'll talk about. But from the latest versions onwards, you are seeing something admin studio, where every configurational related, or maybe everything like queuing related part, or everything like job scheduler related part, or batch processing related part, or any listener related part, or any kind of deployment related things, deployment failure related things, everything high level they can watch from here itself. Okay. And what about business analyst? If you are a business analyst, generally you require little Pega knowledge. Consider I'm a business analyst for a Java project. I need not require Java. I should just know the process. So how sprints to be running out, how Scrum meetings. So I should be like more process oriented there. Even if I'm a business analyst in .NET project, still I don't require any technical skills. But in Pega, for a business analyst, no doubt technical skills are required. So you are supposed to do some basic development from your end, and from there real development team will deep dive in and continue. So in business, from for Pega business analyst, there will be little things, little development related knowledge. So for that there will be something called App Studio. So we're having something called App Studio. App Studio and Development Studio both are related to development only. Okay, so here you see little development related options, and here almost like 100% development related options. Fine. So what about development manager? Consider you are the team member. You'll get development studio, right? And if I'm your manager, still I'll get development studio only, no? So from hierarchical or designation perspective, I might be somewhere higher position, but both of us should be having development related things only. So here also we'll be getting development studio only. So the real users, they will be getting real user portal. And the real bank managers, they will be having like manager portal. You name any role. So you say it as product manager or maybe like work parties, whatever it is, no doubt they will be logging in and they have to get out of these four things only. What do you mean by four? So App Studio or Development Studio. Okay, so we technically, who are accessing Development Studio or App Studio, we call them as author in Pega. Okay, meaning day one after you joining company, one operator ID will be created with role as author for you. And the real users, whenever they're logging in or whenever they're joining, they will be created with an operator ID with role as user role. And this is something as admin role. And this is again as author role. This is also as author role. So this is again user role, and this is manager role. So there will be only 4 roles in Pega. Getting my point? There will be only 4 roles. So for an every operator, there will be only 4 roles. Any operator should be matching with these 4 only. And that too, an operator can have more than one role. More than one role. What do you mean by this? So consider you joined in a project as a business analyst. You are a business analyst, right? So what screen exactly you will be getting? App Studio, kada? App Studio. And if I'm a developer in that company, I'll get Development Studio. Both are like little same. Both are like little same. Fine. So you requested your management saying like you are interested in development. You are interested in development. So your management, as part of cross functionality, what they're suggesting you is for 4 hours, you have to do business analyst tasks, and 4 hours you have to do development tasks. So meaning morning, if you log in, it has to take you to App Studio. And from afternoon, if you log in, it has to take to Development Studio only. No, that is what expected. So do we really require 2 operator IDs in this case for a single person? Just guess and tell me. So do we really require 2
No.
operator IDs for a single person? No, right?
No.
So one single operator ID is enough to manage those many roles. So what I mean to say here is, for one operator ID, there can be multiple roles also. I can be an author as well as an user, and sometimes I'm a user, no? Sometimes I have to do deployment related things also. So meaning these two roles can be given for one single operator. Okay, consider a bank clerk. Consider you are the clerk. So what is the role to be defined? User role, you know? Tell me. If you are a clerk, what is the role to be given? User role. And today your bank manager is like absent. So there are like some urgent things are to be like approved. So your manager is calling you and asking you to approve. So if you are logging in, you will not get those kind of approval related screens. But still you have to do this. So it doesn't mean that he will be sharing his password, username and password to you. He will be given access for you, meaning for this operator ID itself. So there will be user role as well as there will be manager role. So he should toggle according to that. If he's selecting manager role, he can able to approve or reject according to that. And next day, your manager can turn off this access for you, right? So ultimately, every operator should be part of these 4 roles only, and there can be more than one role for a single person. So for everyone clear? Online people, everyone clear? Please confirm.
Yes, Chandra.
Yes,
Chandra.
Okay,
Yes.
fine. So
Yes.
you as a developer after joining company, no doubt you will be given for author role. Consider one more small point. In my project, consider city as my project. There is like credit card application, there is like loans application, accounts application. So Ravi is one project manager. Okay, it's not like a real manager, it's like project manager. So there are like 3 positions available in this company for development. So this Ravi has released one notification. Maybe you guys has cleared those interviews. So maybe Rahul, Ramesh, Rakesh. Maybe these 3 persons are like selected. Now Rahul is supposed to be developing credit card application. Ramesh is supposed to develop loans application. Rakesh something about accounts application. So this manager should create operator IDs for these 3 persons initially. Now tell me these 3 operator IDs to be given with what role?
Author.
Author, right? And so they have to be given with author role. What do you mean by author role? So if they are logging in, what is the next screen they'll get? If an author is logging in, what is the next screen they get? Dev Studio.
Development Studio.
Development Studio. Yes, Development Studio. So meaning he will be logging into some Development Studio and will design something. This person also will get Development Studio. This person also will get Development Studio. So if he's drag and dropping and designing something, it must be part of credit card application only, right? So finally, what I mean to say here is each and every operator should be no doubt connected with their role, and no doubt it must be connected with an application name. He is author for credit card application. He is author for loan application. He is the admin for accounts application. If you are joining as a tester, so you are the user for this loans application, whatever it is, every operator should no doubt be connected with a role, and that too with an application. There can be more than one role, more than one application for an operator. So I can be an author role for credit card application, and the same person can be like an admin role for different application also, right? So for one operator ID, there can be such probabilities also. Fine. So now if I log in, consider Ravi as one operator ID. If I log in, so based on its role, it must take to development studio and other things, right? For now, I'm giving some dummy things. So if I click on login, what might happen? Will it take me to the next screen? No doubt. No, it has to throw some error, correct? Tell me, online people.
Ye-
I'm trying to enter with some dummy value. So do you expect any valid response? No.
No, it should fail.
It will show some error message, meaning after I entering some ID and password, system is cross-checking somewhere in the backend whether this ID is correct or not, whether this password is correct or not. So if ID and password is correct, then again it has to cross check whether he's developer or not. So if he's a developer, again it has to cross check for what application. That is where next development studio and other things are like happening. Meaning on click of login button. So if I just enter dummy value, I'm not getting any error. If I enter some dummy password, I'm not getting error. Only after I clicking on login button, there is some error throwing out. So meaning on this login button, it is checking for some backend reference, right? It is checking somewhere in the backend reference. You know, backend reference every time it will be database table. If it is about internal authentication. So consider this as our Pega login page. I'm trying to enter some ID and password. It may or may not be valid. System will not straight away identify. So if you click on login, so background reference where it has to check, and reference will be 100% database table only. And on click of this ID and password should reach here. There will be hundreds of records. All the operators will be maintained in one single table. And just for your information, I'll tell you the table name also today itself. Okay, so the database table holding all the list of operator IDs is PR underscore operators. Very, very important name. Okay, so there will be one database table where it will be holding all the operator IDs. All the operator IDs in the sense, so it will be holding operator IDs of a developer or tester or the real user, whatever it is, in our entire Pega application. Every operator data should be maintained as an individual record. There will be only one record for a single person, meaning one operator ID. Fine. So now table name is PR operators. So every Pega project. So you might be working in city project today. Next year, you might be working in HSBC project. And next year, you might be working in Standard Chartered project, whatever. Every Pega project, no doubt should have some database, right? No doubt should have some database. Now, our entire database name is Postgres. Okay, or I should not use this word right away. So our entire database name is Pega data. This is our database name. Generally, database and a collection of tables, collection of multiple tables. This is our database name, and within which almost like 500 plus tables will be there today itself. And one such table name is PR underscore operators, where it will be maintaining all the list of operators of that entire project. Okay, now in interviews, sometimes they might ask you. So they look at your resume and it will be saying like, you have 3 years experience in so-and-so company and city as your client. So they'll ask you, explain about this client. You'll explain about its credit card application or whatever it is. And if they're asking you, what is the database you are using? What you have to answer? What you have to answer? Come on.
Peg-
What is the database? So what is the answer for this?
Pega
Pega
data.
data.
Pega data.
Pega data.
That is the answer you have to say. But everywhere, what the answer we get is Oracle is the database what we are using, or Microsoft SQL is what we are using, MongoDB is what we are using. So this is the answer what we are getting. Okay, so whatever the answers they are saying it like Oracle or Microsoft SQL or MongoDB, these are DB environments. Okay, so in Oracle, I'm trying to access this Pega database. So here, few clients today, they are interested in Oracle. They'll feel like Oracle is most trusted and secured. So just to access this data, no doubt they must be having one platform, right? No doubt they must be having some platform. So few clients are using Oracle and few clients are using maybe Microsoft and few clients are using Mongo. Okay, so whenever any client getting Pega license, So background, there will be one environment with the name PG admin 4. This is one environment similar to Oracle. This is free complimentary given by Pega. This is completely free. So after you joining company, no doubt you will be asking for this URL, right? You will get this Pega login page in this color or something different. And after you logging in, so you are supposed to fix on a number of defects as a developer. So you should just open this DB environment and check for the respective tables to fix if required. So for that, you should get this PG admin 4 installed. So this PG admin 4, so your client need not pay anything extra. This is complimentary given for free. But most of the clients are not using this free software. So city client additionally, with their extra amount, they are purchasing this Oracle. And this database, that is JDBC connection URL and password will be there. For every database, there will be connection URL, username and password. So this Oracle, after I installing it, there if I can link this URL and password, I can see this entire database name here. I can see n number of tables. I can open any table and I can visualize everything. Okay, and for that, they have to get this Oracle software extra costed, and they have to hire one administrator also for that. Okay, and next project may be about like HSBC. It is not guaranteed that they have to use Oracle only. So they might be having Microsoft SQL. They have to separately purchase this, and the same database will be like connected there. They will visualize something here. So all these are DB environments. If anyone in interview asking about like what database you are using, so for every one of us, it is same answer, that is Pega data. And sometimes you'll come across with the name called Postgres. I'll explain difference between these two in coming classes. But you should never use a word called Oracle or Microsoft or Postgres, these things. And yesterday, whoever like installed Pega, okay, so you might be installing on your own, or every one of you called us for help, right? So there we separately installed PG admin 4 if we have observed there. Okay, online people, did you observe this PG admin 4? Okay, if we have observed, whenever our person is installing, so we have downloaded pgadmin 4 and we have installed it. We need not download this actually. So in the Pega software, whatever you downloaded, this is complimentary given. But this Pega software is something downloaded long back. So this is having a package of pgadmin 4 with the older version. That is where we are asking you to download this as the latest version, nothing much. Even if you are not downloading this separately also, it will happily work out. So these are real environments. Later I'll show you so how to create external databases and how to access the same, there you'll come to. So these are just our extra environments. Okay, these are our extra environments. Suppose if I send you one normal document, maybe a notepad document. Okay, maybe if I send you one text file. Okay, so this text file, few people can see it in Notepad, right? And few people can see it in Notepad++. Few people can see it in Sublime text editor. So all these are extra editors. So did I send you anything like Notepad? No, I just send you one text file. So this is our original data. These are like different environments based on the client. So depending upon they are using it. Okay, so this is what. So now finally what I mean to say here is our database name is Pega data, and where it will be having hundreds of tables. One such table name is PR operators. And in future, if you look at for our extra tables, so their tables generally starts with the PR. Few tables starts with PR as the prefix. Few tables starts with the PC as the prefix. How are you seeing like PR? Few other tables starts with PC as the prefix. And few other tables starts with the PR4 as the prefix. In interest criteria, they'll ask you, so why few tables starts with the PR? Okay, they might start you with this question. What is the database table holding all the operators? You'll confidently say it as PR underscore operators. Then they might further ask you why it is starting with PR as the prefix. Okay, what other prefixes you know? So you'll say few tables starts with PC, few tables starts with PR4. What is the significance of starting with PR? What is the significance of starting with PC, maybe PR4? So can't we update the name to PC? Will it cause any problem? So this level of cross questioning they'll ask about. So you'll come to know everything in detail slowly. Okay. So table prefixes is what we understood. PR, PC, and PR4. And again, if I'm having a table, no doubt you'll see everything in row and column structure. Ante kada. Generally table, it will be having row and column structure. So let's consider all these as columns. Whatever the headings generally you see, all these as columns. And there must be at least one primary key. Am I correct? So for every database table, there will be at least one primary key. And under this primary key, my operator ID will be there. If you are also part of my organization, you might be a developer or tester or whatever, you are part of my organization, you are supposed to log in for something, and no doubt there must be an operator ID, and no doubt that must be available as a record in this table. So what I mean to say here is, what is the primary key for this operators table holding operator IDs? Okay. So did everyone understood the question what I'm talking about? Everyone following, right? Online, everyone please confirm.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Yes, right? Okay. So let me quickly recap this. PR operators is one main table, and there might be hundreds of records, out of which 10 records might be developers, 10 might be testers, 10 might be the real users, managers, administrator, whatever it is. And this operator ID will be available under one column, which must be like primary column for that table. And this column name is like very, very important. That is PY user identifier. So this is its columns name. What is it? PY users identifier. And no doubt there must be some extra columns also. Okay, holding his role and holding his application name. So there will be one such column with the name PY. Okay, let me tell you something easiest column names for now. Okay, so there must be something like PY access. And there will be something like PX application. Okay, PX application. So consider Ravi is one operator ID, and he must be having author as the role, maybe for credit card application. So Sham as one person, he might be the real user for loans application. So maybe Rakesh as one person, he might be an administrator in our company for accounts application. So this is where our table will be organized. And again, if you observe, as I told you, table starts with these prefixes, right? PR or PC or PR4. For any table, you'll see generally columns or headings in our easy understanding. And these column names generally starts with the PX. This is what you're observing. PY or PZ. Getting my point? So for every table, so these columns generally starts with the PX or PY or PZ. So what is the significance of this having with the PY? So why this is PY user identifier? Why it is not PX user identifier? Why it is not PZ? And why this table is not with the PC? This collaborative discussion is what you have to understand. Fine. And now if this is my Pega login page, if I'm trying to click on login, no doubt it is supposed to hit this database table. So if it is a database table and this is like purely developed on Java, right? These front-end screens, no doubt it is on Pega. Pega internally, what is it having? Java only, no? So on click of this, some Java execution should happen. No doubt it is to hit the table. So it might be via Java or .NET or Python or whatever it is. If a database table is coming into picture, no doubt SQL queries are must. Meaning on click of this Java code should generate one SQL query automatically hitting this table, and this matched content should be checking under this column. Am I correct? Yes, right. So this Ravi, whatever I'm searching for, whether it is like valid record or not. If it is not there, no doubt it will throw an error. And if it is there, still further it has to check the password also. So password related column also must be there. So it will check for username and password. So if it is properly authenticated, then it must take me to the next screen. It must show me the next screen. It might be a development studio. It might be an user portal. It might be an admin studio. That depends upon this operator's access level. So if it is author level, okay, system should understand that he must get development studio. And development studio for what? So under PX application, whatever the keyword it is defined, that is credit card application. Next, he will get development studio for credit card application. In this way, background authentication is happening. Okay, and as I yesterday told you, so every project today, just for their logging in, if they're relying on their base table, if they're taking their own referencing table, there might be chances of security breach, right? So no doubt it is checking for our internal table and it is validating. So if this is the scenario, there might be chances of security breach. That is where every client today, they are going for external authentication or multi-factor authentication or second step verification. So if it is about like second step verification, no doubt this data to be maintained into third party entity. Okay, so Microsoft is one vendor. So where every client related data will be maintained there. They cannot read that content. Fully encrypted it is. Okay, so Microsoft is one famous vendor for that. And there will be something like Okta also. Okta, Microsoft, and something like OpenID. So all these are like famous vendors. So where every application, if they wanted to authenticate, so there will be an external authentication code generated, right? That is because of Microsoft generally. So if it is via this type of validation, we call it as external authentication. We call this as external authentication. Now I'm just showing you this screen. Now I'm just showing you a screen and I'll click on login. I'm getting some error message. So is this because of internal authentication happening or external?
Internal authentication.
Internal. How are you saying it?
Because there is no the error you are getting from
It's not just based on error. We cannot say anything on error. So now let's forget everything discussion. Now what I'm asking you is, today after you joining company, your manager will give you one URL within which you'll get this login page. And here what type of authentication that client might be having.
okay, PR servlet is internal.
It's like internal. How can you say it as internal? Because of
PR servlet.
PR servlet. Okay, if it is external, what you'll see there?
PR auth.
PR auth. It must be like PR auth. Let me try defining it as PR auth. So you'll still see same login page. You'll not see 1% difference also, but this URL might be different. That is based on external authentication. So this is what you have to. Okay. So we generally see this. Maybe if you open any random website, maybe IRCTC itself. After you opening that website, you will see two types of login: customer login and agent login, right? And then you'll see two things, right? If I'm the customer, I'll click on this button, I'll get username and password. And maybe if I click on this button, I'll get the same login page, and this might be agent. So generally agents will be less in number. So this agent login might be from our internal database itself. This customer might be from external database. If I click on this, you can see something like authentication changing there. And if you click on this, maybe the URL authentication might be changing out. So this is our basic thing. You as a Pega developer should understand all these things at basic level. All these are basic things. Okay. So coming back to our actual discussion for now. So this is purely running on what? If it is PR servlet or PR auth. So this is purely running on this particular part, operators table. Fine. Now, if I click on this, I'm trying to enter something. So if I click on this, no doubt it will throw an error, right? So if it is throwing an error, that is part of validation. We call it as a validation. And that too, there will be two types of validations. there will be two types of validations. So one is like server side validation in Pega, and the other one is like client side validation. So this is not dedicated to Pega. Whatever the statement I'm talking about, this is not dedicated to Pega. It is like common in every application. After I getting this, I'm getting some error after validating, right? So what validation it might be? Is it server side validation or client side validation? Just guess and tell me. You might not know the difference between these two now itself, but what might be the answer?
Server side.
Server. Okay, it is about server side. Meaning for any kind of authentication, if it is to take background server's help, it is server side validation. Okay, so let me ask you, or let me tell a few examples. So after you logging in, you'll get development studio, right? Or the same part. I'm not entering ID and password at all. If I click on login, okay, if I click on login, so I'll expect a message saying like, please enter first name and last name as mandatory. Okay, that is not actually implemented in Pega. You are not getting any errors. That's fine. So if I'm entering both as empty, if I click on login, maybe my requirement is to show something like first name and last name should not be empty, or username and password should not be empty. What type of validation this might be?
Server side only.
Is it still server?
No, client side.
So scenario number 1, scenario number 2, try to understand. So both username and password, I have to click on login. So here I entered something like XYZ and PQR. If I click on login, no doubt after entering something, system should think whether it is valid or not only from database table. So it is to hit the database table and further it will throw an error message. So their server involvement is there, what we technically call it as server side validation. So now I did not enter anything. If I click on login, what is the point of we hitting the database table? User has to enter something, right? Still I'll get an error message saying like username and password cannot be empty. So I'm getting an error message here as like here also. But in this scenario, do we really require hitting database table just to check for this empty result? No, right?
No.
So this we call it as client side validation. So if I'm throwing an error message without hitting the background server, what is its type of validation? Client side. And here this is like purely server side. Now, if I ask you, what is this validation all about? Answer indeed.
Server
This is
side.
purely server side. This is purely server side. So they'll ask you directly in interviews, how did you implement server side in Pega? Okay, and how to implement client side in Pega. So maybe if there is a scenario where you can apply both, so what exactly you'll use? Okay, why did you follow that approach only, this approach only, everything they'll counter. So why am I saying all these things today itself is, so day 1, your project first requirement is about modifying the screen. So they'll straight away modify the screen. If I'm the business analyst, I don't know much technical concepts. If I'm the business analyst, if you all are part of development team, I'll give you a requirement saying like, change this blue color to white and red color combination with something gradient color. Meaning left side, it must be white color. Slowly, it must be reducing it contrast. And right side, it must be increasing to slowly red color. Something horizontal gradient color is what we call. Okay, so that is one thing. Instead of Pega logo, change to our Citibank logo. And this username and password, consider I did not enter anything. If I click on login, okay, so maybe if I click on login, you are not getting or you are getting some error message based on server side, consider. So for this empty data, going for till the server level is useless. Performance will be dropped down. So your new requirement is to implement a client side validation. Okay, and I want this username and password to be like horizontal. I want username here and password here. Don't show it like one below another. And I want this login button somewhere here. So this screen can be completely modified, but you are not supposed to remove this button. So I can remove this text box and create something new. I can drag and drop something new. I can change complete background colors, images, everything. But you will never get a requirement to modify this button. So this button position is okay. This button background colors are okay. This button label is okay. Instead of login, go for submit or whatever. But this as a button functionality should never be modified. Why? Because on click of this, there is already a predefined Java code, right? So which is having some predefined SQL query, right? Which is to hit our operators table, right? Which is to look for PY user identifier column, right? So everything is like Pakka designed. So maybe if you are removing this button, if you are trying to create one more button, so can you write that level of Java code on your own? Can you generate one SQL query on top of it? So can you make everything as it is? No. Maybe if you got that skill to write everything again, so it is not guaranteed that you will do in the best way. So consider we both are supposed to do this manually. I might write Java code, you also might write Java code. I might write in 10 lines, you might write in just 3 lines, right? So we both are getting output, but not in the best way every time. So that is where these custom Java modifications are not at all encouraged in Pega. So today, if your business analyst is asking you to modify this screen, so it is accepted to do everything except this button modification. So maybe if they're asking you to remove this button, and if they're asking you to on change of this password, suppose consider this button is not there. I'm entering my ID. Okay, I'm entering some ID here and I'm entering some password. Now, if I somewhere tab out, if I click mouse somewhere outside, login should automatically happen. Consider this as a requirement, which is invalid, but consider this as a requirement. So meaning whatever the Java code you are supposed to do, so you should take care on this on changing of this, right? Whenever on change, I have changed from this to this. Whenever on tap, immediately that related Java code should execute. If this is the task given by an business analyst to you, you should clearly explain what extra problem you might get out of this backup. So this is somewhere customization might be possible. It might kill system performance. You are clearly supposed to convey the business analyst. Even they will be having all this knowledge. So you should never modify these related options. Okay, fine. So I can straight away log in with my ID and password. It will take me to the next screen, which might be Admin Studio and or Development Studio. From there, I'll design extra things on top of it. Okay. So to quickly recap today's session. So you should not ask for your development URL. Sorry, you should not ask for your installation. You have to ask for the development URL. And based on that URL itself, you should identify whether that is implemented with internal authentication or external authentication. Okay, and then you should cross-check whether your login page is customized or not. Okay, so it will be customized, no doubt. If it is not customized, it will create a new confusion for the real bank employees. So consider I'm a Pega developer. So if I got this URL, I can see this URL, right? So there I'll see Pega logo. I'll continue. Okay, let's not change the login page, consider. So inside we are creating one credit card project. We are designing all the screens and that is like, okay. So all the phases are completed, development phase, testing phase, deployment, everything is done. Finally, it is reaching the real bank employees. So if I'm the bank clerk joining in a bank, I don't know anything Pega, Java, .NET, I don't know anything, right? If I'm the real bank employee, so my manager, day one should give me an URL. Same process. My manager should give me an URL. And this URL will be almost the same. And here you might say something as city prod, whatever. Okay. So that URL I'll click and I'll get this login page. So if I see something as Pega as a bank employee, what I'll understand? I don't know what is Pega. So I'll get it out whether I'm working in Citibank or something different Pega. So I might think that this has not my credit card application. Okay. So that is where you have to customize this. And after this URL, this bank clerk, what he will do? He have to log in, right? Meaning ID and password has to be created for him. Who will create? So maybe this manager might create. So this manager, how he can create? So generally, To create username and password, to create operator ID, generally you will do it in Development Studio. Okay, generally we'll do it in Development Studio. You can give an option in the manager portal to do that. So manager, by the time he will be logging in, right? He'll have operator ID and password. He will be accessing manager portal, and there we might have an option to create new operator ID for his team members. That is okay. But most of the projects are still not having this. So for a bank manager, if he wanted some operator IDs to be created for his clerks, so he will drop an mail to you, in the sense you might be a production support team. So prod support team, development team will be there, testing team will be there. So UAT team will be there, maybe like prod support team. So one email will be triggered to the production support. If you are a person here, you will be creating an operator ID for this clerk. And in this process, what is the role you'll set for him? What is the role you have to define for him for this operator ID?
User.
It must be user role. It must be user role. Consider by mistake, you tagged him as author role. And you replied back to that email saying like operator ID is created. This is his ID and this is his password. Now, if I'm such clerk, if I'm trying to log in with my ID and password, what is the next screen I'll get?
Dev.
Studio.
It must be Development Studio. It must be Development Studio. So one more production instance will be raised, saying like this operator ID is getting something different screen. They don't know that this is to be called as Development Studio also. Something different screen. So this defect might be assigned to different person, right? So initially prod support one, there is like one person who created operator ID and marked him as developer. So consider his shift timings are completed. He logged off for that day. And maybe after 2 or 3 hours, they identified something like wrong screen is what they're getting. So they'll again reply back to that or whatever. So different production support person will be attending that. You are this production support person. So you know that this operator is tagged with the wrong role. It should be modified, right? Where you'll modify? Where you have to modify? So if you don't know what is our database name, can you do anything? If you don't know what is our table's name, can you do anything? So under this table, if you don't know what exactly column you have to look for, and if you don't know what exactly where it has to be modified, if you don't know all our discussions for today's session, can you do this simple task for your client? No, right? No. So you as a developer should understand each and everything, how Java is executing the background, how database queries are executing, and what exactly the column names or table names. This is what. Okay, so you need not have Java knowledge completely. You need not have SQL knowledge, but you should know what Pega is doing in the background. So if you don't know Pega's design, you are unfit as a Pega developer. Okay, fine. So let me give you one more small related example. You modified this. Now this person can get user portal only, no? So you fixed this and this person can get user portal. Now he can log in with his ID and password. It is expected to get user portal, but what is happening is it is like keep on loading. It is not throwing any error. So it is accepted, but it is keep on loading. It is taking maybe 2 minutes of time just to get the next screen. It's like time killing process for them. Again, they'll drop a message. They'll drop an instant whatever. So saying like this operator ID and password, whenever logging in with this URL, it is taking long time to load. So now what you'll do? Will you do anything in operator step? Is it like any validation throwing for you, saying like wrong ID and password? No, it is accepted, but it is something about like performance. So what is happening? After when they're hitting this username and password, it is to hit this table and get something. In this process, SQL query or Java code is running slow. So this is also a defect which comes under performance. So the earlier one is also a defect which comes under functionality. This functionality itself is running wrong. And this functionality is correct, but performance is poor. There will be different type of defects, right? So now you are getting something called performance defect. So you as a developer should no doubt fix this. Okay, you did not write this Java code. You did not write this SQL query, but still if this is running slow, It's your responsibility to fix it. So what you have to do is after he logging in, okay, you can ask this person to log in. Okay, you can connect it to this real user via call or whatever. So now what you'll say is, I'm trying to trace your events as a developer. Can you please try logging in fresh? So once he's trying to log in, you'll get all the events registered. So what is happening was first what Java code is running, next what is happening, and how much milliseconds time it is taking, everything. You as a developer should know how to track all those things. You need not require Java code or SQL code. You should know how to fix it. So why this SQL query is taking long time? What other extra events are running in between? Everything you have to. Okay, so all these things, meaning you as a developer should know analysis part very clearly and development part very clearly. So tracking part or maybe defect fixing part, testing part, everything. Okay, so in terms of database, how our design is, in terms of how SQL queries are running out, so maybe how to trace everything is what you have to. So today's class, we are just understanding about like operator ID and its related discussion. So coming classes will understand how to log in. Okay, we still did not log in, right? We still did not see how development studio will be. We did not see how user portals will be. So next class, I'll show you how to log in and what will be the next screens and what is that? And how to change operator passwords if required, and how to do this from real user portal or manager portal, everything connected, and it will be very interesting. So we'll take this in the next session. So clear, right, every one of you? Any questions for today? Any discussions or any questions, anyone? Okay, and from today, you will be getting interview question and answers on the till dated topics. Till dated in the sense, so only today is what we are having more technical things, right? So this operator related discussion, you'll be having some interview question with answers shared, and you'll be shared with one MCQ test also. Okay, as I told you, there will be like MCQ test after every topic, right? I'll share you some MCQ test. The today's related part, you can able to attempt that and you can cross check. Okay, and you will be added to our portal today itself. And whoever is like enrolled, for every one of you, make sure installation to be pakka done by today itself. Okay, and you start attempting these MCQs, everything. Okay, and for others who are is not yet enrolled, so please do it today itself. Maybe please start enrolling today itself. You are like, if you are like interested and planning to continue, please do it today itself. And recordings and other stuff will be shared only for enrolled candidates from today. And next class joining link will be completely changed and it will be given access only for the enrolled candidates. WhatsApp groups, everything will be created from the next class. Okay. And we'll have classes from Monday to Friday only, as I told you initially, just to get like habituated. You should accustom to our Pega initial phase and design, right? So for few weeks, we'll take it mostly on Monday to Fridays. Then after we'll take on extra Saturdays also. So my suggestion is to not to miss any single session. Maybe if you are missing any single session also, make a habit of watching everything on daily basis based on the recordings. And once in a week, you have to revise everything on your own. Once in 2 weeks, we'll take mock interviews. Okay, it will be like revision from our end, making you revision from our end. Okay, so
Chandra, can you explain PXPZPY?
what is
And
it?
PXPZPY?
Hmm.
Why we are using or what is
You'll
the
come to know. So you not understand those things today itself. So maybe if you
Okay,
wanted to know today itself, if you are having little Pega knowledge, or if you're having some IT industry experience, what I suggest is in our YouTube channel, directly you will see the same video. A 10-minute or 15 minutes video will be there. You can search with the name called OOTB properties. There I clearly explained you what is prefix of PX, maybe PY, PZ. But it's not recommended for you today itself. Don't watch it. You might get a little confused. Slowly anyway, you'll come to know. Okay?
Okay. Thanks.
Sure. Clear, right, everyone?
Yes.
Sure. Thank you.